the covert attempt to reunite Harry, and King Charles has a code name. The individual who spent months discounting the reconciliation signals as cleverly produced PR noise intended to generate headlines without substance, and who is most publicly doubtful about whether it was real changed his mind. That code name is Project Thor. The way a journalist changes their mind when the signals appear to be intentional coordination between two smart operations is not loud, and with a major public reversal. Something in particular caught Tom Sykes' attention. The messages from the King's office and Harry's team arrived simultaneously, pointing in the same direction, and were calibrated in a manner that does not occur when two sides are working independently of one another. It is hardly coincidental or parallel independent thought when two distinct, strong, and politically astute offices simultaneously release coordinated signals in the same window, pointing toward the same conclusion. There is a plan for that operation. After months of doubt, Sykes concluded that Project Thor seems to be genuine. This evening, we will discuss what Thor is really trying to accomplish and why it needs a code name at all. The $3 million yearly floor of the Sussex lifestyle, the specific source claims made by Tom Bower in his 2026 book Betrayal regarding what William has decided, and when he made that decision, the direct commercial meaning of the title removal question rather than ceremonial ones, and Meghan's reported contemplation of legal action over the possible removal of her title, which is a financial decision as much as a personal one. It is all connected by the same question that has always existed. Since 2020, the question has been at the heart of every Sussex narrative. When William ascends to the throne and has complete constitutional power to carry out his pre-existing decisions, what does he do? And Bower claims that the answer to that question was previously decided at a particular time on a particular day, citing both the Prince of Wales's office and the office's current and former senior assistants. The choice has been made. The time when it can be carried out has not yet come. Let's begin with Project Thor since it is the most important and little discussed development in the reconciliation discussion, and because comprehending it necessitates comprehending the particular strain that Charles's medical condition places on him. A cancer diagnosis that is not in remission is being managed by the King. He has had therapy. As he has reacted, he has shortened the course of that therapy, but the cancer has not been cured, and the palace has taken pains to avoid characterizing it as such. His age is 76. Throughout his adult life, he has considered the requirements and expenses of the institution. Over the past 5 years, he has witnessed the public, documented, and commercially organized breakup of his own family, and he has not given up on the son, who is mostly responsible. Because of this context, Project Thor is essential. The reconciliation may take place using standard back channels without the need for a code name if William's position were less firm. The circumstances for a meeting may be established without rigorous coordination if Harry's activity had less financial motivation. The reason for the operation is that there is very little room between what William will permit without openly objecting and what Charles wants, a visit with his younger son before his own health position changes. Instead of open negotiation, careful orchestration is needed to navigate that environment. Rather than relying on intuition, Sykes's observation was precise and based on pattern recognition. The messages from both sides were timed too precisely to be accidental. Openness is indicated by Harry's camp. Availability is indicated by the King's office. Both take place in the same window, at the same speed, and in the same direction. That is not two people choosing to be reasonable on their own. That is two parties that have decided on a strategy and are carrying it out concurrently. Notably, William's office remains silent. Silence is not impartial. William's office's quiet during a time when the other two offices are indicating reconciliation is a sort of communication in and of itself, given everything he has said about his position. He is aware of what is taking place. In order to avoid appearing as if he is intentionally keeping his father from seeing his son while the father is suffering from cancer, he is opting not to publicly protest a back-channel procedure that he cannot be perceived as obstructing. That is a stance that costs William and makes the people sympathetic to Harry. William waits, remains silent, and says nothing. The question that no one outside the operation can currently answer is if Project Thor results in a meeting, an actual encounter between Harry and Charles, rather than just aligned signals of purpose. There have been no reports of confirmed meetings, and the lack of such confirmations is a clue to how much progress the coordinated signals have really made thus far. The indications point to persistent purpose. The challenges are still significant. The like button is free and keeps this channel continuing if Palace Insider is providing you with a complete picture that other channels exclude. Let's now discuss Tom Bower's book, Betrayal, his 2026 follow-up to Revenge, which includes a chapter about William that, according to Bauer, is among the most important pieces of reporting about the future of the British monarchy published in years. The Sussex response to this chapter reveals as much as the content itself. The Sussex team called the book a mad plot when it arrived. That is not a denial, as we have already discussed on this channel. A true denial claims that this source is fake, this date is incorrect, and this document does not exist. Without addressing a single particular claim on the record, a deranged conspiracy asserts that the author lacks credibility. The book has not been contested in court by the palace. No specific factual assertion has been formally challenged in court by the Sussex operation. The book is still in use, and its assertions are not refuted in any way, either legally or factually. Bauer is the journalist who, while Gordon Brown was still in government, deconstructed his political mythology using source documentation and revealed Robert Maxwell's pension fraud before any mainstream magazine was willing to publish it. He has a clear standard. He ensures that the information he writes is accurate and has legal counsel to support it. His 2022 Sussex book was based on 80 different sources, 80 people who were prepared to talk to a biographer with a track record of veracity. Sources identified as both current and past senior aides working in the offices of the King and the Prince of Wales appear to be the source of betrayal. Individuals within the institutional apparatus, not commentators from the outside. There are particular assertions in the William-focused chapter that have not been disputed. When William ascends to the throne, he is ready to be brutal. At a certain point, the decision was made to act decisively. According to reports, Harry was being denied entry to the private palace reception for the late Queen on the same day that William was getting ready to invite him to the coronation. On the same day, two things are tugging in different ways. Something was crystallized by that imbalance. Furthermore, according to Bauer sources, a man made a calculation and hasn't looked back. The most extreme particular accusation is that William intends to remove titles from Archie and Lilibet in addition to Harry and Meghan. It is important to note that this is a claim based on sourced reporting rather than a verified intention. Archie is 7 years old. Lilibet is 5 years old. Bauer portrays this as a deliberate strategic choice regarding institutional clarity rather than an impetuous response motivated by rage. Part of a larger reorganization that William plans to carry out using all of the Crown's constitutional power once he has it. Removing titles from underage children has substantial public and reputational repercussions in both ways. On the one hand, it would immediately and significantly increase sympathy for Harry and Meghan in areas where it is currently lacking. It would make people wonder if the Crown should use its power against minors. In a way that is challenging to control, it would take center stage in William's early reign. However, it would have the commercial impact that William's analysis suggests, removing the main brand asset from a business that relies on it for its profitability. Until the time comes, it is unknown if he will go that far in the end. However, Bauer's sourcing asserts that it is in the plans, and neither palace has released any information to refute that particular assertion. Please leave your thoughts in the comments section below, particularly about the Archie and Lilibet topic, and subscribe to Palace Insiders so you never miss what we cover next. Would William really take away a small child's title, in your opinion? Or does this type of choice appear differently when you are inside the organization making it than when you are seeing it from the outside? Let's now discuss why the title question is more than merely ceremonial or symbolic. Why Meghan is reportedly considering taking legal action is a financial decision as much as a personal one, and why it is the load-bearing structure of the entire Sussex economic operation. Royal titles are not ornamental. They are the cornerstone of everything the Sussexes have constructed since 2020. Everything Harry and Meghan have built has an economic value. A single fundamental asset underpins the Netflix agreement, the Spotify contract, the biography, the lifestyle brand, the speaking circuit, and the brand relationships. Their titles convey their closeness to the British Crown, not their autonomous artistic output, not their ability to create material, not Harry's military service or Meghan's acting career, their affiliation with the institution. The terms Prince, Duke, and Duke are used in all contract negotiations, press releases, product launches, and media descriptions of these individuals and their significance. When the title is removed, the reasoning behind the contract is altered. If Harry and Meghan Markle of Montecito, California, are the only ones making the offer, the Netflix agreement that was priced against the Sussex brand and against access to a prince and duchess who could speak about the royal family from the inside would be different. The memoir of a prince was the source of the economic interest. The originator of the lifestyle company is a duchess, which contributes to its premium status. The title is ingrained in every source of income. One of the figures in Bauer's reporting has been widely disseminated and has not been publicly disputed. The Sussex business needs about $3 million annually to maintain the infrastructure and way of life it has established. Before any discretionary spending, there is the floor. The infrastructure for travel, the properties, the legal and PR departments, the security, the music, and the brand management operation are all necessary for them to function at the current level. $3 million annually only to keep the current machine operating at its current scale. That is, without adding, extending, or constructing anything new. The Sussex operation's commercial performance has been declining concurrently at all levels compared to that $3 million baseline. In July 2025, the Netflix agreement ended without renewal after being converted from an equity contract to a first-look arrangement. On the day the $20 million contract expired, Spotify's head of podcast monetization referred to them as grifters. There was a recorded seven-figure deficit at the Archwell Foundation. In just 4 months, the U.S. web traffic for the Is Ever brand was almost cut in half. The floor is fixed, while the commercial business is shrinking. The operation's actual revenue is making it more difficult to satisfy the $3 million floor, and the major commercial asset, the title, may be threatened by the person who will eventually take control of it. Because of this, it is not primarily a matter of formality or dignity that Meghan is reportedly considering taking legal action over any possible revocation of her title. It's a financial computation. The revenue stream is the title. Eliminating it would alter not only how Meghan is referred to, but also the business case for any partnership based on that title. A legal action would be an effort to use the legal system to defend a business asset that the Crown asserts it has the right to take away. The question of whether such an action would be attempted is distinct and crucial from the question of whether it would ultimately succeed in court. The Crown has broad and well-established constitutional jurisdiction over titles. A plaintiff would not benefit from the legal precedents for contesting such a royal prerogative ruling. Although the endeavor would be historically unusual in the contemporary period, the courts are generally unwilling to intervene with royal prerogative in areas where the Crown has previously held unchallenged control. At the beginning of a new reign, no palace communications team would want to be in charge of a duchess suing the institution she married into over its power to revoke a title it had granted. This would cause a great deal of media attention, controversy, and public discussion about the monarchy's authority and accountability. Even if the lawsuit is eventually unsuccessful, the fear of legal action is a pressure point in and of itself. Bauer's sourcing claims that William is aware of this computation. He is aware of the built-in commercial architecture. He has received legal advice, and he made his choice well knowing of how it might affect his brother's business. That is exactly what ruthless means in this situation, according to Bauer's framing. Not impetuous or sentimental, but thoughtful and well-informed. There is one more aspect of Bauer's reporting that is worth mentioning before we move on to Lonnie. A Camilla detail that has sparked debate of its own. According to palace insiders cited by Bauer's, Meghan had an almost hypnotic effect on Harry. Harry was brainwashed by the same words recorded in Bauer's book, which came from royal insiders. That is strong terminology, and Bauer makes it clear that this is not his own characterization, but rather what he was informed by sources. The claim has not been contested by the palace. It gives background for why the institutional response to the Sussex departure was what it was, and reveals a clear picture of how the individuals inside the institution perceived the dynamic. Not merely rage over what was done, but a certain interpretation of what transpired. Let's now discuss Andrew Loney's research, which offers the particular historical comparison that Bauer's sources specifically cite to explain William's perspective. Loney studied the lesser-known royals, those who live on the institutional peripheral rather than in the ceremonial center, for almost 20 years. William's circle frequently uses his work on Prince Andrew's trajectory, more especially the controlled approach the palace took toward Andrew after his most severe public issues became uncontrollable, as a case study to explain the reasoning behind his stance. The hypothesis that is popular in palace circles and that Loney's study of the lesser-known royals sheds light on is that Charles quietly promised his mother, the late Queen, that he would take care of Andrew following his most severe challenges, to control him instead of completely excluding him. In order to avert the entire rupture that clean exclusion would have necessitated explaining to the public, he was kept inside a protective framework that limited the harm he might wreak. The financial arrangements, the Royal Lodge, and Beatrice and Eugenie's ongoing presence in the functioning royal circle. Instead of being considered true rehabilitation, this framing views all of them as parts of a controlled containment plan. Not true rehabilitation, not a rebuilding of the confidence that his actions had shattered. Managed containment is keeping a person close enough to watch and, if feasible, mold his behavior. In order to control the potential for his daughters to become independent and unpredictable complicating characters in the family drama, he kept them in their royal duties within the institutional framework. William was clearly frustrated as he observed this process throughout the years. He saw his father's treatment of Andrew, which was presented in public as family loyalty and in private as compassion, result in ongoing, unexpected reputational harm with no obvious way to fix it. The story reopened each time Andrew showed up to a family event, no matter how small, or even if it could be justified as a private family concern. Each incomplete inclusion rekindled a debate that the organization ought to have put an end to. Instead of containing, the managed containment continued. Bauer's description makes clear what William concluded after seeing the Andrew process over many years. The institution pays a higher ongoing cost for the unresolved quality of its liability questions than it would pay for a clear, final, and challenging decision made once. The Hafen model, managed containment, partial access, and maintained ambiguity are all categorically worse than clean separation. Andrew is not his brother. The particulars of the challenges are different. The individual's past is distinct. The departure is completely different in terms of its public aspect. However, based on Bauer sourcing, William seems to apply the same structural rationale to both scenarios. Institutions that leave their liability issues in a controlled but unresolved condition will always have to pay for that uncertainty in ways that compound rather than diminish. According to Bauer sources, this justification influenced William's particular choice and the moment he made it. On the day of the coronation invitation and the late Queen's exclusion from the small, exclusive palace reception. On the same day, the same individual made one gesture and closed one door for the same brother. On the same day, both. One is a public display of fraternal inclusion, while the other is a secret denial of access to close family members. William simultaneously extended one gesture and withdrew another, coming to the conclusion that the managed middle ground, partial inclusion, and simultaneous in and out are the worst imaginable institutional outcomes based on his experience holding both positions concurrently. This is where all the strands come together, and I want to be clear about what is inferred and what is known. Harry's crew and the King's administration are actively involved in Project Thor. Sykes' evaluation is credible because he was doubtful for months and only changed his mind when the particular observational evidence of coordinated timing proved hard to explain in any other manner. Its goal is to establish a setting where a father and son can meet. William's stance and the institutional danger of any meeting that becomes sufficiently public to compel William's office to comment on it are its main obstacles. According to source reporting from senior aides in both offices, Bauer's book describes a William who has made a specific decision at a specific moment and is ready to carry it out without uncertainty, revision, or the kind of sentiment-based second-guessing that he witnessed result in the Andrew situation. Bauer's term is ruthless, not a tabloid description or an antagonistic framing. Rather, it comes directly from individuals working in the offices of the King and the Prince of Wales who have seen William's situation up close. The ruling may also affect Archie and Lilibet, turning the institutional conflict between adults into something that affects kids who have no say in the matter. On the record, neither palace has disputed those particular assertions. The commercial lever is the title, the only thing that allows the Sussex operation to be profitable at its current scale and price. Eliminating it would alter more than simply honorifics. Every collaboration based on the Sussex brand would lose its commercial justification as a result. A weakened brand makes it more difficult to reach the $3 million yearly floor. The opposition side of the calculation is Meghan's alleged contemplation of taking legal action in lieu of any removal, an effort to defend an asset that the Crown says it has the right to take away through the legal system. A window exists between all of these factors. Thor is specifically intended to leverage the window that Charles's health condition creates before it shuts. No operation, no matter how well planned, can alter the basic constraint that Charles's health creates. The organization only goes in one way: contracts for commercial operations. According to Bauer sourcing, William makes his choice at a particular time on a particular day and waits for the moment when he is the only one who can carry it out while the signs of purpose mount without leading to a meeting, when the entire constitutional power to act is transferred along with the Crown. What are your thoughts on all of this? Before William ascends to the throne and the institutional calculus is irreversibly altered, will Project Thor truly succeed and result in a genuine meeting? Would the public respond well to William's removal of those titles, including those of Archie and Lilibet, or would it turn into one of the key issues of his early reign? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. To ensure you never miss what we cover next, subscribe to Palace Insiders. This channel continues to undertake this kind of analysis because of the like button. We'll see you at the next one. The next one won't be far off considering how much is now underway, including Project Thor, Bauer's book, the title question, and the window that Charles's health creates.